this is a serious moment for the monarchy. I think there's a clear sense, both from King Charles and also Prince William, that the less the public see of Prince Andrew, the better. And I think that what we see from Prince William this morning is a clear signalling that things are going to change when he comes to the throne, and that these kind of events have to be avoided.
Now, the Sunday Times reflects Prince William's impatience with the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein affair, and his connections to Prince Andrew after a series of scandals continue to threaten to damage the royal family's reputation. Royal editor Roya Nikar has the front page story for the Sunday Times and reveals that when Prince William is king, he'll likely go further than his father and will ban his uncle from all elements of royal life. He'll be excluded from public and private royal events, including William's coronation. Ed Owens is a royal historian and commentator and author of The Family Firm. He joins us now. Ed, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Not a part of the family then, Prince Andrew. And why do you think Prince William wants to go further than his father on this?
I think he's recognised since 2019 in that disastrous Newsnight interview that the reputational damage to the monarchy is significant. And Prince William is very attuned to how younger people feel about the institution, how younger people feel about the monarchy. And he will recognise that, there has been a subtle but nevertheless significant shift downwards in terms of public support for the monarchy. And part of that story is the story of Prince Andrew and Prince Andrew's the reputational damage he's done to the institution.
Any historical comparisons here, Ed?
No direct historical comparisons, but we can go as far back as 1917, another crisis point for the monarchy. The House of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, as it was then known, that's the British House, was engaged in a war against the German enemy, the Kaiser. As part of what was the British royal family then, there were many British-German royals, and there was a Parliament Act in 1917 to rid the British-German royals of their British titles, and that included some British dukedoms. There was one famous incident. The British Duke of Albany had that title removed because he'd sided with the Kaiser against the British during the First World War, and he later went on to become a notorious Nazi.
Goodness me. The titles that Prince Andrew has left, like the Earl of Inverness, for example, can they be taken away?
I think what's likely to happen is that they remain kind of in abeyance, essentially put to one side and are not going to be used officially. My understanding is that for the rest of Prince Andrew's life, as it stands, these titles will remain his, but he will not be putting them to official use.
And what is he meant to do for the rest of his life? Roya Nikar's piece says that he spends much of his time at Royal Lodge playing video games, which has perplexed me no end. But what is he meant to do with his time? What should he do with his time?
Well, I think the monarchy would like him to remain as cut off from public view as possible. It's clear, that his links to Jeffrey Epstein have brought the institution, have brought himself into disrepute, and this is a serious moment for the monarchy. I think there's a clear sense, both from King Charles and also Prince William, that the less the public see of Prince Andrew, the better. And I think that what we see from Prince William this morning is a clear signalling that things are going to change when he comes to the throne, and that these kind of events have to be avoided.
Yeah, he's very much going to be a casualty of the modern monarchy. And as we were saying earlier, it would have been incredibly hard for the Queen to strip those titles from her son after that Newsnight interview. Pretty hard for King Charles to do the same with his brother. Maybe easier if you're the nephew. Do we think Prince William is going to be more ruthless than his father?
He's certainly signalled that he intends to be more of a change maker. He's talked about how he will do things differently when it comes to his coronation, not just in relation to Prince Andrew, but that he envisages a different kind of coronation, that he wants to move further and move faster in terms of change. And I think that's partly because he recognises his father has had a difficult time since he's come to the throne. The cancer diagnosis has, unfortunately for King Charles, really taken the wind out of the sails of this reign. And if he had intended decided to be a more reforming king. He hasn't had the time or opportunity to do so. And I think what William is looking at is that, if he's to put this institution on a secure footing for the next half century, then he has to go further. The other major issue that has come to light, partly through the good work of the Sunday Times in recent years, is concerns around the royal finances. There's a huge amount of secrecy around the way that the institution runs in terms of its finances, and I know that Prince William will be thinking, how can he deal with that issue as well? Because that's one of those things that, again, has led to questioning by the public of how this institution works.
Yeah, and the fact that they really can't be sort of hauled up in front of a court of law. They enjoy privacy and secrecy rights that other people don't, and whether that is still correct in this day and age. Could Prince Andrew really just go for broke on this, a bit like Prince Harry, I suppose, and do a Netflix series, publish a novel? How much dirt does he have on his family, and could this come back to bite them?
Well, I think this is where doubtless some negotiation has taken place, because we know that princesses, I should say, Beatrice and Eugenie, have probably been protected by the negotiations of the past week, and at this point in time, he also remains, the primary inhabitant of Royal Lodge as well. These are, if you like, the things that are on the table at the moment that could be removed, that could be taken away from him in the event there were further problems. If he did a Harry, for example, and went public. So no, I think it very unlikely, given where we're at this stage.
The battle that Charles hasn't won, King Charles, at the moment, is trying to get Andrew out of Royal Lodge. We understand it's not sort of preferable that he's still there. It's a palatial 42-room home, 30 bedrooms that he shares with his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson. He's there, isn't he? The private lease arrangement is until 2078, but is there a mechanism by which Charles could oust Andrew from Royal Lodge?
No, not very easily. And again, we're in uncharted waters here in that we haven't had to deal with this kind of problem in the past. So it's a process of negotiation. They're both aging gentlemen, and in that sense, it might make sense in due course that Andrew downsize significantly to an accommodation more befitting both his station but also his age as well. Especially as you earlier said, from what we know, he's spending most of his time sort of locked away just playing video games.
We've been trying to debate which video games, but we can't quite arrive at a satisfactory conclusion on that. How does he pay the rent? How does he cover the maintenance of Royal Lodge?
We don't know, and again, this is one of those sort of underlying questions at the moment that points to again a lack of transparency around how his lifestyle is funded. There was a very interesting biography published of both Andrew and his wife Sarah Ferguson earlier this year by Andrew Loney. Andrew Loney's also written a piece for the Sunday Times today, and he raised a lot of questions around how it is that Andrew has managed to finance this lavish lifestyle going back more than 2 decades.
Yeah, he was a guest on the show yesterday. Questions of transparency and lots of how and what ifs. Thank you for being with us. Really appreciate it. Ed Owens, who's a royal historian, commentator and author of The Family Firm. You can look at the various bits of reporting on Prince Andrew at thetimes.com, and this brilliant front page splash Roya Nika as well on the front of the paper. And we'll check in with Roya towards the end of the show.